No Name in the house. John Boston is in the house all the way from Boston. Cheers to Boston. Today is a great day. Today is a great day, Johnny boy. I just got done riding 9 miles. The weather was terrific, 80 degrees, hardly anyone on the trails. Did pass a nice looking woman running with her dog. She smiled at me, but I kept riding. When I'm on my ride or my weights, I am focused. Ain't no woman gonna knock me off my game. There's no shame in my game, right? What are you up to, John? What are you up to, No Name? What have you guys been up to today? I hope you're taking care of yourself. Today we're talking about the insatiable demands of modern day women. In fact, we're talking about the insatiable demands of the majority. Now, I give a 1 to 2% leeway to those women that do not fit in this category, but they're extremely, extremely difficult to find. They're like Wolverines. You know how difficult it is to find a Wolverine pack? Like if someone takes a picture or a video of a Wolverine, it becomes headline news. They're extremely nocturnal. They hide. And when they strike, they strike. So good luck finding that 1 to 2%. I know they exist. I don't know where. We know that in all areas of, in all corners of the world, we can't escape the emotional brain of a female, nor can they escape the logical brain of a man. I'm well here, all things considered, going to be a bit busy in the next few hours. Work can be a biatch. Oh, there you go. You're grinding today. Manage from Mumbai is all the way from India in the house. Brian is in the house. Brian Lyon, love that. I'm a Leo, as my astronomical sign, astrological, or as astrological talks about. Leos are, we're a rare breed. But the reality is this. Okay, so what are the insatiable demands of women? I can name money, status. They want a body that is 6'7", 6 foot, or a full hairline, great hair, 6-pack abs, strong muscles. Okay, that's the physical. The status, potentially a business owner that makes 10 mil a year, cyberzony in the house, and they want a yes man. They say they want, a lot of these guys are leaders. These entrepreneurs, these very successful men are leaders, so they're not going to take shit, but they want to turn that man into a yes man, right? Aquarius manage. Had a candid conversation with a woman in her 60s and how she had lots of men wanting to date her 30 years ago. She has felt alone for 20 years. She admitted the wall is real. To find a woman that actually admits the truth is rare indeed. Interesting, John. But that's the reality. Recon plane will find them either be single or have more than one girlfriend at once. They want the bigger and better deal. The insatiable demand is always insatiable. Think about that. Mysterio, all the way from Canada, is in the house. I am nobody's yes man. So they want the Fonzie, if you guys know who Fonzie is from Happy Days, but they also want the Richie. They want to make Richie into Fonzie and Fonzie into Richie. Doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? Little gal trucker, the cul-de-sac marriage is not for me anymore. The cul-de-sac marriage. Good to have you in the house. LEOB, hello, my friend. And so looks is important, status, money, right? But then when they get that, they don't want it. They want to make that person into even more. So the insatiable demands continue to be insatiable. JT in the house, if she thinks she can't manipulate you, even sex might be an issue for you. Well done. Well said, my good and faithful servant, JT. Ian Blades, they want everything, including your submission, and they'll still find something wrong. Ain't that the truth? They want Fonzie, but will end up with Lenny and Squiggy. Yes. Remember in Happy Days, Potsy and Ralph Mouth never, ever could even talk to girls. At least Richie, Richie was actually taking PUA tactics from Fonzie. If you think about it, Fonzie was the true PUA. He was, he was the Chad, but he was instructing Richie how to get chicks. Isn't that what modern day PUAs do? And Potsy and Ralph Mouth, man, those guys were way out there. They were incels basically. JT checking in from Milwaukee. Speaking of Fonzie, damn right. That's where it was filmed. At least that's where it was set. Jawara in the house, author of 7 textbooks and more to come. It's 80 degrees. Well, I think it's maybe going up to 85. Not as hot as yesterday, but man, yesterday was hot as hell. Ralph and Potsy were total betas. Abso-fucking-lutely. Those guys, they weren't even purple pill. They weren't even blue pill. They were like, but it's the perfect example and analogy of men and women and dating and getting together. Richie was a total simp, right? And Fonzie was instructing him. Fonzie always got the ladies. Remember, he'd say, sit on it, beat it, get out of here. He'd snap his fingers. 10 chicks, appeared. He was jumped the shark. He was tough. He was a leader. All the women thought Richie was too nice guy. Right? Women say they want nice. The insatiable demands, I want a nice guy. Wrong. They want a leader. They want someone they can respect. The guy that she wants is the guy that tells her no. Right? Manage Roy, you can F them, but can't keep them for life. That's well said in today's modern dating world. Nomad John in the house. I was invited to a Hare Krishna music event, and I stole the show, and now they want me to lead the thing. Hare Krishna, Krishna. I've been to one of those. They got good food, though. Great breads. Prince facing a false accusation from the other side. When will it stop? Can he just rest in peace? One of the greatest musicians of all time. Just let the guy rest in peace. And, it's somebody probably doing that to get a piece of his, what do they call it? Foundation. They want a piece of Prince's foundation. Didn't the big Ragu go on Happy Days and score with the chicks too? I think so. I think I remember that. Let's see if Suzanne knows that. Suzanne, John asked, didn't the big Ragu go on Happy Days? I think so. Good name. I am definitely a Wolverine loner nocturnal. Well, Wolverines are very difficult to find. So we look at status. We look at the insatiable demands. You have to have an unlimited amount of money and be willing to give an unlimited amount of money to her at any beck and call. Now, I've always said this. This is the reality of modern day relationships. 99% of all women, 98 to 99% of all women. I say this. If you give them 100% of their demands, they disrespect you. If you don't give them 100% of what they want, you're controlling. Do you see where the markers are in this game? You can't win it. You can be strong as F, like a Fonzie, and that's not good enough, right? And you give them everything like Richie, and then they want the Fonzie. It's just, you can't, again, that's why I say don't throw your heart into something that most likely has the odds of letting you down. We don't hate women. We understand the reality of relationships in today's modern world. We understand our brains are different, and we understand that if there is a relationship, you need to really reinforce your thinking that it's just your turn. There's a potential of hypergamy. There's a potential you as the man could change. We don't put everything, but the dynamics of relationships are very difficult to deal with when it comes to an emotional and logical brain. It's as simple as that. That is why marriage counseling and counseling doesn't work. There is a winner and there is a loser. There is one brain that's different than the other, and there is a referee. So proceed with caution. Know these principles. Put yourself first. If you want to date a woman, okay. If you don't, that's okay. If you want to be monk, that's okay. But we don't hate what we understand. I would say from 2000 to present, to meet a woman and go long haul will not work well or be manageable for 90% of the couples. Very well said, Mysterio. I would agree 100% with that. 100%. It's just the ROI for me doesn't seem there. Why? The cell phone, technology, social media, the hive mind thinking. Oprah, for fuck's sake. I mean, right there. Oprah's probably done more damage to relationships than anybody else. Right? Rolly from Ecuador is in the house. Good vibes to you, my friend. Lisa Smith chiming in. Good to have you, Lisa. Brian Lyon, no matter what you do, they are never happy. The majority, yes, yes, yes. Women want a leader. That's why you always see them on the passenger seat. Think about that. I would agree. Deep down in the programming of a female is the co-pilot, and that's what she wants to be. Now, we're seeing in today's world women bulking up, looking extremely buff and muscular. They want to be men. They want to lead companies. But at the end of the day, when they hit 70, they know that truly their true calling and their true gender role was to extend the posterity of the man she was with and to raise children and grandkids and be great examples to daughters that would do the same. That is how our posterity continues. However, it's been flip-flopped. Now you got stay-at-home dads that are emasculated. Do you understand that if you are a stay-at-home man, I heard that testosterone decreases by up to 60% if you're a stay-at-home man. Go figure. I mean, just the respect the woman has for you is zero if you're a stay-at-home dad. Right? Luis Lagos, greeting from an American living in Israel. Those Israeli women are beautiful. I remember in Vegas, there was a bunch of Israeli girls, like right before they were supposed to join the military, or it was right after. Oh my gosh, gorgeous. I hope you're safe over there. Seems pretty scary. Let us know how you're doing, Lewis. Good to have you. Call me Coon. I'm in. Of course you are. Everything's going well now that you're here. Damaged goods in the house. Do you think USA is anti-traditional marriage? It's be sure looking like that. It's sure looking like that. The old traditions don't measure. Think about it. For over centuries, traditional marriage. Again, marriage was a way for families to combine assets and resources. Their love wasn't part of the equation back then. But people managed to love over time when they were 70, 80, right? That's not cool anymore. You know what's cool? The woman working out of the house, the man sitting home with his balls cut off and being and playing a feminine role. That's cool. But that's not cool. That's the destruction of humankind now. That's the destruction of society. We're seeing it everywhere. We're seeing that somebody has a month to celebrate this month versus the guys that laid their lives down in battlefields that got one day. Manage, don't throw your time on something that doesn't give you future returns. With woman, you lose everything and get nothing in the future. Well, for the majority, I would say absolutely. Well said. Mysterio, if toxic masculinity is real, what's your definition of it? Rad. Any man that has a male unit below his waist is toxic. That is my version of toxic masculinity. What's good to you? It's not funny's in the house. So that is my definition of toxic. Singer Sinead O'Connor accused 5'2" Prince of beating her up. Oh my gosh. How did she make that hit? That was the hit from Prince. Nothing compares to you. Put Sinead O'Connor. Actually, she was pretty good before that CD came out. She had, what was the Something in the Serpent or something. She was actually a pretty talented musician back when, 80s. And then she got that hit and it exploded. And now, what does she have to do? She's lost her fame. I don't know if you've seen it. Go look up Sinead O'Connor right now. Do a Google search. See what she looks like. She was gorgeous when she did that film, when she had her hair all buzzed off, and she was pretty. I thought she was a very pretty, unique person. And now look at her. And now the fame's gone. So what does she do? Seeks attention in the negative spotlight by probably going to make shit up about Prince. Prince, I don't even think was 5'2". I think he was 4'11". But regardless, Jawara, very well said. I mean, it's ridiculous. How should someone's diet look like in their 20s? Protein, protein, protein. Throw a little fat in there. Keep yourself hydrated, water, take magnesium, potassium, and work out. You know, if you want a pizza or a burger, great, no problem. Batman is in the house. Haven't seen any videos from you, Batman. Where you been? Good to have you always from the East Coast. John Boston saw a 49er that would get no attention out and about yet. On Facebook has men telling her how beautiful she is. They have a complete misconception of their SMP. It's a delusion now. It's a delusion. And that's the world we live in. That is the world we live in. And there's traditional guys, and most of us, for the majority, I think all of us are traditional. We wanted to be married. We wanted to have that family. We wanted to follow the lineage within our brain and programming that said, hey, we want to have children, so it maintains the family name. We want to have grandkids and so forth and so forth and so forth, so it continues. That's what we wanted, traditional. And I've always said the reality is the recipe is very simple. Women respect and honor their husband. They'll get everything in return. Not hard, right? Just respect the guy. Scratch his back for 5 minutes. Tell him you love him. Tell him you appreciate how well he did for you. Say, he works his ass off. You know what? If you said that, if a woman is watching this and she said to her husband, gosh damn, I appreciate how hard you work for us. He'd work double harder the next day. We're not difficult creatures. Mysterio, when I think of my female friend AG, who was the breadwinner and went back to work after 6 weeks of maternity leave, in that short time frame, she was not happy with married life. Well said. I think that's pretty consistent with a lot of women. Lady Bird, stupid lady just killed 5 children in my I think you're going to see that a lot more because there's a lot of women that are alcoholics now. Studying a CDL manual to get my CDL, and salute to you, brothers. Well, when you come through Salt Lake, you let me know. I think that's great. In fact, I know Walmart pays drivers $100,000 a year. If you can get on with Walmart, I think FedEx pays well, UPS. So cut your teeth, learn the skill for a year or so. I mean, drivers are in huge demand. And then, work your weeks. And if live out of the cab, work on yourself, and, take some time off for you. You can always say no, and then, hey, you might have the inkling to start a business. I mean, a trucking business, if you're smart enough, like Batman is, go out and start your own gig. And you're in control. That's the true right there, red pill. They're like bitching at us for no reason and expect us to love it, says Respiter. It's difficult when you're constantly being held to a threshold that if you try to hold them. See, what happens is this. You argue with someone, and that doesn't work. Rule number 1 in red pill, never argue. Never argue, especially with a woman. But you just have to figure out, most men want peace and just tranquility. And that's why a lot of guys just don't say anything. And women really try to yank the chain and make that guy respond to whatever negative or positive arguments or whatever. So we're very simple creatures. We just want to take care of things, be taken care of in a way that is sufficient, and then, build our lives. But you're right. You're right. Constant bitching is definitely an issue. Every woman has a honey-do list. Have you ever tried giving her a honey-don't list? Ha! Call me coon. Well said. I have not. I remember when I first got married, she put a honey-do list for me together. You know what I did? Ripped it up and walked out. Is it possible for a man to be a stay-at-home dad and still stay masculine? I think it's only possible to do that if the man brings a productive piece to the table. That he could be a stay-at-home man and also have a side hustle. However, in the traditional sense, Nomad John, it would be much better for the kids to see his father leave the house and come home, kind of slay the buffalo in a corporate or an outside environment, and then they come home. So they see that visual. I remember this guy, I met him. He's worth $50 million. He didn't work, but every day he got up and went to work. So he would show his kids that he had discipline and routine. Even though he'd go to an office and then he'd go to the gym or whatever, but he was always gone. He wanted to make an impression that, hey, even dad left the house, regardless of how much money. So that's the only way I think it would work. Brian Lyon, how bad do you think the single motherhood is now in the year 2021? It's pretty interesting. A lot of single mothers don't get married. In fact, they get in relationships for very short term and then it ends. Why? There's too much baggage between both the man and the woman. The man probably gets upset, or the woman just doesn't have her demands met. And you're going to see that more and more and more. Men suffer if they don't live in reality. Correct, Mysterio. Well said. Toxic masculinity is nonsense. Toxic masculinity is just another label, as if in labeling someone a narcissist. It's just another label to make men that much more aggressive. Stupid. The army in Israel makes them totally effed up mentally. I married one, and that's why I'm watching your videos. She has tried to get over me. And when I stand my ground, it turns out I'm the evil one. Well, remember, if they don't get their way, now the women that are watching this channel, I appreciate that, but most women are 5-year-olds with breasts. When my daughter was 5 years old, when she threw fits and tried to get me to get her whatever, I would just walk away. Now, the majority of women are 5-year-olds with breasts. I really believe that. And it's not putting them down. It's just the reality is their maturity and their continued progression in life kind of stalled in those tactics, because they knew if they stamped their feet hard enough as a 5-year-old, daddy or mom would give in. I saw that with my ex-wife. She'd give in. So there you go. So you're having issues, Lewis, probably based on that programming. Sound engineer is in the house all the way from Eastern Europe. Always glad to have you. I refuse to invest in anyone or anything that is not reciprocating the same effort and reciprocation back to me. Juan Pino, solid words of wisdom. Take note of that, people. If you do not get a return on investment, why would you invest? If you know that relationships in today's modern landscape, to go the distance literally requires, a ton of investment. How do you do this? How do you do it? And knowing that you're not going to get a lot of return, if not any. Why would you do that? Well said, Juan. It's not funny. Masculinity is only toxic to women when they refuse to be used or give away free validation. You're toxic until you're not. Now, if you don't give her that new Range Rover or take her to, the Galapagos Islands, now you're toxic. You're controlling. I remember that. She said she brought that up once. She wanted to go to a Hawaiian resort that was like a 4 seasons. It was like $1,000 a night in 2000. That's a lot of money. Like $1,000, really? For what? It's the same. I mean, what kind of bed are you going to sleep in? A bed full of cotton balls and gumballs, or what? And I said, no, we're staying at this place. It was $250. It was a 2-bedroom. We had 2 little kids. It was great. The kids could play. We could make mac and cheese. You take 2 kids, a 2.5 and a 5-year-old on a vacation. They eat corn dogs and mac and cheese. They're not eating ahi tuna with you. In fact, they can't even sit still in a restaurant. So you got to accommodate. And she wanted it. The kid couldn't even go in the lazy river at the 4 seasons. I'm like, we're not spending that money. Number one, they can't go in the lazy river. They're not tall enough. What are we going to just sit on the damn deal? Like, you take your turn and I take my turn? No, baloney. So anyhow, you're right. That is the issue. Reggie Brock in the house. Ooh, he's a New York guy. My girlfriend keeps breaking my standards. It's time to leave. I told her we as men like submissive women. 100% right there. You got to set standards, folks. From the get-go, no woman is going to take away the things that I love. Good for you. Set the boundaries in the beginning. Thank you, sound engineer. Damaged goods. Brian, Lion women are getting pregnant now just to get their measly $300 payments from Joe B-hole Biden. Yeah, dude, we haven't seen anything yet. We'll just watch. Just wait. Get out of debt. Work on yourself. Lisa Smith. I believe many women are toxic, and those women raise men to be like them. Well said. I would agree with that. What do they call them? What does Greg Adams calls them? Son husbands. They raise their kids to be son husbands and very beta. You see a lot of issues with boys today striking out, going into businesses and shooting people up because they do not know how to control and process their emotions, because they've been raised in an environment where feminine emotions is what's being taught. Men have to release their energy through physicality. Simple as that. Getting out with other men, playing hard, lifting weights, building stuff, hitting things, chopping down trees. That's how we process things. and we process our emotions by talking to other men. We never, ever, ever talk to a woman about your emotions. She is not equipped mentally or emotionally to understand you, and nor are you mentally or emotionally equipped to understand her. The best thing you can do for each other is listen and give no fixing abilities. Mr. Gray, the modern woman's favorite and routine question, which was, what have you done for me lately? Babs a day in the house. Satisfying a modern woman is more like mission impossible. Selfish creatures, they want more and more and more. Well, they have an insatiable demand for everything. For everything. If you have a six-pack abs, now they want 8-packs. And I just think that's the programming. What have you done to me? Oh, I got that right. What have you done for me lately? What do you bring? What will you do next? Janet Jackson popularized that song and that programming, and Oprah has only made that continue. Well said, Babs. You need to have a balanced diet, not only protein. Only protein can cause kidney failure. Only protein will overburden your kidney filters of protein. Please consult a doctor for your diet. Vegetables and fruits are good as well as nuts. A guia espiritual is in the house. Good to have you, brother. The person who asked about trucking, a friend of mine in grad school, opened up a moving business for short-term moving and has cleaned up. I would agree. Those moving businesses, they make a shit ton of money. I remember we moved from Oregon to California, and we had like 2 bedrooms worth of stuff. We just got married, and they wanted like 10 grand to move us. I finally just got a U-Haul, did it for $1,000, and I pocketed the relocation money. But people are paying for that. Businesses pay for that. That's good money. Well said, John. I know a single mom who scored big with a millionaire who had no kids. Ooh. Interesting. Lou Hellickson, men are so simple. Women's reluctance or inability to try to please and relate to the man shows that from start of the first date to the end of the marriage, it's not about who you are or love. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Anyone who says toxic masculinity is usually a feminist, 100%, or a liberal victim. Brian Lyon, cut contacts with my narcissistic mom for good. Some of these women, like my mother, is a perfect example of how women today are. I would agree. Even sisters. I got 3 sisters. Aunts. Mom. Neighbors. Right? But you know how to navigate now. Simple as that. Chinese investors offering 100 grand over the value of our homes. But our community won't sell because there's nowhere to go under 450. Well, what are you going to do? Make 100, then you're going to have to pay 120 to get the next house. So you might as well stay where you're at. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. It's those that are buying. I mean, if you sell your house right now and buy another house, you'll make money, but you'll spend. It's a wash. But if you're just getting into it, you're going to lose money. It's just unsustainable. From the moment a little realize she can cry and get things done, they never let it go. Yep. Today we're dealing with the bigger, more manipulative version of that. Absolutely. And there's boys today raised in single mother homes that throw fits too. They're women. Their brain is so crossed with wires of what is masculine and what not. Their mother have told them to sit peeing down. Their mother have told them to cry their emotions out. These are things that are destroying relationships, society in general. It's a shit show. Most wives focus on the question, what did you do for me, says sound engineer, but not, I appreciate your hard work. Most of them don't care about your past efforts because they don't have future perspectives. Well, that's powerful right there. They don't have future perspectives and they don't care about your past. It's all in the now. Sound engineer hitting it right on 4 cylinders. It only matters in this moment with most females. What you did yesterday, there is no, get over the emotional bank account. There is none. For men, yes. For women, no. It's only today. If you gave your girlfriend or wife your kidney yesterday, that's not good enough for today. I see it all the time happen to me. It's just how they're wired. Now, if you know that, if you know what I'm talking about, why would you bank on them having an emotional bank account? Literally, every day should be a new woman to you because you don't know what yesterday was her in a different day. Today is her in today. Different person. So maneuver your life and navigate life by putting yourself central. It's as simple as that. If you put yourself central, you're happier. You're a realist. You're investing in you. Whereas if you don't put yourself first, you invest in something else, a relationship that has a very slim to none return on investment. Where would you rather spend your time? Reggie Brock, I'm from Kentucky, but I'm a huge New York fan. I love Kentucky. In fact, brother-in-law used to live out in Moorhead, and I remember going to Mount Sterling, spent some time in Lexington. I thought Lexington was cool, and I enjoyed L8, that ginger ale that's spicy that everybody buys. But great place, great horse farm, and back when Ashley Judd was hot, she's from Kentucky. But now she's a liberal, raging feminist that's angry at men. She's been through 4 or 5 divorces. She's hit the wall horribly. 25 years ago, man, that chick was hot. Good to have you, though. When they cry in front of you, is it real or fake? Fake. A woman's tears are real in her bedroom. The majority. Bo left in the house. Cheers to you, brother. As society will always crumble under a woman's leadership, 100%, nothing lasts without logical decisions. Correct. Can you imagine what happens if the VP becomes president? Can you imagine? Oh my God. And she has no pedigree of any success. She's only in there because of the color of her skin. And she's a woman. Right? In rock bands, the members know who the front women and men are. And Zeppelin, for me, it's Bonham. I love John Bonham. In fact, what did Robert Plant say? Because Jason Bonham, was covering their reunion tour, and Robert Plant said, and Jason wanted to keep Led Zeppelin going, and Robert looked at Jason and said, Jason, you're an amazing drummer. We love you, but you're not Bonzo. And Bonzo was the pulse of the band, I would agree. Absolutely, Mysterio. Good for you. Wait till rates go to 100 basis point, home prices will fall. I'm a complete believer in that. Why can't a couple see one lawyer and draft an equitable prenup where they both win? Because she always wants more, is the typical way a woman seeks. Mine did, especially in divorce. Chris from Mexico is in the house. Hi, Rad. Is it possible that a separated man with kids who was cheated by his wife could have a new healthy relationship with a single mother? It's possible, but he's got a lot of baggage because his wife cheated on him. So his trust level is at the lowest of the low, but it could be possible. Now he's separated, so he's not divorced. There's a potential that he will go back to his ex. And a lot of guys do because they don't want to, they don't want to lose. But my brother-in-law went back to my sister after she cheated multiple times. Finally had to give up because it just kept going and going and going. There's a possibility. You can send me an email more about that. rebelagainstdefeat@gmail.com. David Cummings, if you want to make millions in the future, guaranteed invest in stocks like Bumble and Progeny. The Shia Kano would be the end of the FIFO. Hey, Purina is building 2 new plants. Purina dog and cat food. Go figure. And, I was talking to this gal the other day. She's got 2 dogs. We've hung out like 2 times. And she spends a shit ton of money on those dogs. Like, she buys gourmet food. So anything pet related will be a successful investment. John Boston, the prenup has to protect you. Forget about her interest. Well said. Who made more coin in your marriage? Who do you think? M, yours truly. She only worked part-time as a nurse, so she hardly made any money. Monkey double black flips only happens to guys who are high value with low value men. It's only monkey branching. Well said, manage. Lisa Smith, people with CDLs could be making big bank as soon as the rent moratorium is lifted. Working for a movie company or starting one, that will change. There will be a lot of evictions coming down the pipe. I would agree. I want to be great. Absolutely. Moving companies would be great starting. Do you know that it is expected for people to marry? And if you don't, you know what is expected? You're seen as an anomaly. I love being an anomaly. Well, I think you're seeing more and more people not getting married. But before, if you didn't get married, people thought you were weird, right? But now it's becoming, hey, I'm not married. I just saved my life. I'm not married. I just saved my income. I just grew my income. Unfortunately, you know, at one point I was a believer in marriage. I'm not anymore. I just don't think the rewards and the risks outweigh the rewards. And I think the road of marriage ultimately leads to an emotional, physical, or mental divorce. Mysterio. The VP is raging, cackling lunatic with no. We know how she got there, guys. It's as simple as that. Camel toe is there because of the color of her private parts. Zero qualification. She has none. Her husband is a beta. Oh my God. I don't even call him a beta. That dude is a wimp. David Castro in the house. What's up, brother? Good to have you. Charles DC, Rad, my ex, age 33, blames me for everything that went wrong in our... Well, there you go. Me too. Raise your hand if you've got blamed for everything. Once again, I asked her to tell the truth. If she has a new guy she pretends not to have, how to believe it. She has a new guy, or she would be with you. Or she'd be with you and still have the side hustle. Watch her actions and listen to not any of her words and get away from her. She does not respect you. You're a good dude. Yours truly made more money. Mysterio, what personality trait do you think would trigger off red flags for a woman to cheat besides an iPhone? The me personality trait. The what have you done for me? The victim mentality. And a lot of women are liberals. Liberalism is a victim state mindset. It's as simple as that. Liberals blame those that create and build. They want to take from those that build and create. They blame people that are successful because they are not successful. They are microaggressive in everything that they do, think, and feel. They use feelings as a way for them to push their agenda. Facts don't care about feelings. And they don't get that. If you tell them that, they will explode internally and they go nuts. I have yet to be in the presence of a man that wants to be a single father or adopt. You know how hard it is to be a dad? And I have 3 that are I'm almost an empty nester. It's tough. I could not imagine finding a surrogate to have kids. No way. You need 2 people. It's too hard. Charles DC, she monkey brand, says manage. Yes, she did. Females and accountability do not exist. Females and accountability sound like military intelligence. Oxymoron. Cyberzoni, laying it down to Chinatown. Attention-seeking behavior as well. I would agree. Every woman over 40 I meet wants to get married again. Isn't that interesting? You know what I tell them, John? They say they believe in love, and I said, really? You really believe in love? Uh-huh. Oh, I just married the wrong guy. I married the second guy. Oh, he was bad. It was just off a whim. First of all, horrible decision makers, right? And number 2, I always say, if you believe in love, we should all be married. We should all be with the same person because love would fix everything. Love is a chemical of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. And the brain always goes back to base level very quickly. That's why I encourage guys, if you're going to date, short-term only. Long-term is proven that the return on investment is not there. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's not there. And so these women say, oh, I'm 40. I want to get married again. I want to fall in love. My sister's the same. My sister's exactly that person you're talking about. Still not married after 10 years. Go figure. And she's gorgeous. Gorgeous and successful. Makes her own money. She's a professor. And she still can't get married. Hey, Rad. Love your channel content. My ex blamed me for everything. Oh, Rad. You are in the boat with me and everybody else. Gotcha. We got each other's back, Safe Haven. Yet still comes around and tries to extract resources and time from me. Straight track. Well, there you go. That is called having your cake and eating it too. That is called female nature. That is called blaming you so you cave and be nice to her. That happens in marriage. That happened in my marriage. Well said, Safe Haven. Glad you're here. Watch out of the ones who suffer from the Cinderella syndrome, says Lisa. Well said. I call it the Princess Destiny syndrome. All of them are princesses. And nothing is ever good enough. So if nothing is ever good enough with a girl you're dating or an ex-girlfriend or an ex-wife coming back, why would you continue to invest in something that didn't yield the first time? It didn't yield the first time, and yet we, as men, and I was, 7 years ago, trying to fix something that was unfixable. I didn't want to lose my investment. I didn't want to pull out of the market too soon. I thought it would come back raging double. I was wrong to think that, and I lost 1.5 years trying to fix it. Tried everything. Tried submitting. Tried to find ways to gift and all those simpy things. Tried to keep my family together. Didn't work. She was a princess, and I was not the prince. And I would never be the prince, nor would she ever be the princess. But anyhow, long story short, why would you continue to put in effort when the effort that you want back is literally, guys, non-existent? Non-existent. Safe Haven figures out ways to get rid of her. Yeah, well said, Manage. Why do women call me awful father when they're almost always the one leaving the relationship and with our kids? Because it's just a great way to blame. Remember, most women assign blame and victim status to the man. It's the man's fault. Remember, when I got divorced, she told me I caused her to divorce me. She couldn't even say she wanted a divorce from me. She blamed me for I made her file for divorce. How about just own the decision? You're not happy, you're going to get divorced. Why do, even in the end, blaming me? We have a kid together, but I just keep combos short and to the point. Good for you. Only about the kids. Do not ever reach out unless the kid, only about the kid. Never ask her about her life, ever. How's little Johnny doing? Is his, sore throat gone? That kind of stuff. Do you think South American women are different than North American from your experience in just speaking with them when you have? No. I mean, there's a different sort of machismo. If you didn't know anything about machismo, the man was always considered, but the strong one, the leader, the man, especially in South America, always had mistresses, and they all knew it. But now, no. The simping when I was in Colombia, I remember seeing these Instagram Colombian models with their boyfriends following them around, taking pictures of them. Back then, 2.5 years ago, even in Colombia. So yeah, if there's an internet, yeah, forget it. Safe Haven, my ex blamed me for everything. It was my fault. She hired an attorney and put a lawsuit for divorce on me. Yep, all my fault. She planned it for months and I didn't know about it. Isn't that interesting? And John we should get a boat, and you know how you name boats? We should all put us in where the ex blamed us, and we should call that boat She Blames Me for Everything. We could sail it. I think that'd be great. Peter Parker, weak fathers treating their daughters like perfect angels without any responsibility is also part of it. I would agree with that. Absolutely. Fathers are calling their daughters princesses. Wasn't how my sisters grew up. My dad didn't call my daughters princesses. He loved them. He made sure that they worked and they were strong. And I got sisters that are strong workers. They're in their keep, but they're still emotional. But again, nowadays, all girls are princesses. Are you kidding me? Everyone gets a trophy. That's the reality. Call me coon. A girlfriend once told me she's a prince. Oh my gosh, you had a princess. Congratulate yourself. I laughed so hard that she chased me with the broom. Oh my gosh, you had a princess. I want a princess like that. Good for you. What makes John Bonham from Zeppelin great to your ears? To me, he has that sex groove pack of the. I would agree. It's just the way he plays those toms, and it's just so good. I mean, what's the Levee Breaks? The Beastie Boys sampled that. Oh my, that intro with that drumming. Gosh, you can't beat that. Can't beat that. John Bonham was one of a kind. Best drummer ever. People say Neil Peart. No way. John Bonham. I respect Neil Peart, but no, John Bonham's my guy. Suzanne, I was pathologically shy in my 20s, no experience with men till I was 24. Now I throw free parties for my war vet friends. There you go. And I'm sure that you are a wonderful friend to them as well. Charles, manage Royce, you probably did. I just hate liars. I don't believe in love no more. Why is she hiding? Who cares if she's hiding it? This is what you got to do. And I'm not coming down on you. I'm saying you're giving too much power to the situation and to her. And when you give your power away, you suffer. Take your power back. Accept the reality. She has cheated on you. She is on dating sites. She is hooking up with other men. And that is the cold hard truth. I had to accept that about my wife, even in the marriage, living under the same roof. And the best thing this does is helps you move on. It's as simple as that. But you got to quit giving her power. And you give her power subconsciously and consciously when you think about what she's doing, where she's at, when she consumes all of your time. So put all of that energy now into you and watch your life change in amazing ways. Cheaper economical attorneys are costing men 50% and up in the courts. Yes, they are. Never buy a cheap attorney. You get the biggest, baddest bulldog you can get. Black Earth is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Sign language, shame, insults, guilt needs to be right. Ain't that the truth? Lisa dropping some good, wholesome truth nuggets. Shame, insult, guilt need to be right. SIGN. It's funny how every woman now calls themselves a queen. They have no idea what the qualities of a queen is. Oprah has pushed the queen and princess destiny syndrome like nobody else, and so have the Kardashians and all the simpy music out there. If a man is married, should he just state to his wife in the start that he will bang other women if the situation arises? He could put that in a contract. And I think that's where marriage is going. 10 years, 15 years from now, you're going to be seeing that. No. When I have the desire, I'm going to nail chicks. I mean, it's going to be a very contractual tax. It's going to be a tax haven. And emotions will not exist. It's her nature to keep you in confusion and make you waste your time. She's playing with your emotions. Well said. How's our brother from last week who's starting his life over again at 50? Well, he'll be successful as long as he works on himself. A friend called, went to the beach with him last night, sat down at a table with a girl that had 2 simps. Interesting. She kept asking me questions because I said there's no honest woman in the world. Wow. Yeah, you're calling them on the carpet. What are the simps doing there? They're putting her on a pedestal. And then you tell her there's no honest women, her attention goes straight to you. Actual Phil Collins was one heck of a drummer. I would agree. Studio, he was great in Genesis, and there are some great drummers. I just literally believe that John Bonham was the absolute most innovative, grooving drummer of all time, and he's irreplaceable. Even with his own kid, was his own posterity, and Jason Bonham's good too. Could not reproduce Bonzo's spirit. Well said, Bull. How do you think your dad's life was like growing up with your lawyer grandfather? They were both red pilled. Yeah. He's a strong dude. They're not, my dad's gonna be what, 70, mid 70s now, and there's not a lot of emotion with him. That's just how he grew up. I mean, my dad and my grandfather shook hands. They never hugged. It was like, hello, son. Very, very prim and proper. They were not there to emotionally stir up stuff. They respected each other's place in the family tree. Your wife was on dating apps while married? No, she was I don't know, but she was having an affair. She probably was. Actually, she was, because I did see her, even when we were living on the same roof. When the cops rolled upon your house when your wife phoned them about her false allegation, were they aggressive? No, they were chill. Although I got a lucky police department where I live, and they knew that. And once I told them that we were a week out from our divorce hearing, they realized that this is all they do. Because we live in a quiet, sleepy, Pleasantville type place. And they knew that this is what they do. They deal with men and women, marriages, fighting, custody issues. I mean, there's no drug deals going down here, and very few. There's probably a murder once every 10 years. So what do they spend their time with? Traffic tickets and domestic arguments. Ours was called a family quarrel. So stupid. Hate even thinking about that. None of these blue pillars can ever answer this one question for me. Why do I have to get on one knee to sign a license that tethers me to whimsical, capricious creature and the state? Because it's a tradition, David. You didn't get the memo. Have you read Gone with the Wind? It's a tradition. The man you know what it is? If I thought about this the other day. When a man proposes, he's on his knees and she's up here. What does that tell you? If you really think about that act, if you think about what you're doing, you're literally submissive to her in that scene. You are begging her. I really think it should be the other way around. You're now the co-pilot and she's the pilot. Again, she can reject you by saying no. It's literally the same as PUA, if you think about it. But typically most marriages that are being proposed, they know it's going to happen. But anyhow, it's just, if you think about the symbolism of the act of proposing to a woman, getting on your knees, that open, and especially from a red pill awareness standpoint, asking the father for the daughter's hand, again, another simp move. The cops know when a woman is going to divorce and makes up false allegations, and know under zero tolerance a man is leaving the house in 99% of the cases. Yes, I'm glad that the judge made me leave, because walking on eggshells and the potential of future visits by the fuzz made it, I'm glad. I think it's smart. I mean, people literally take themselves out and the other person. So it's smart. Why do they keep turning to false allegations? Just easier. They're always believed. Because the man is toxic. I remember a guy at my apartment was, he was this guy that came out of the closet. He had 3 kids, and he was talking to me. He was really fruity. Nice guy, though. And he gave his kids up to the lady. I was telling him about your ex-wife. She was this big German, broad-shouldered, strong woman. This guy was extremely fruity. Skinny, very weak, no muscles. And we were talking about divorce court. And he went to court, and the judge, the woman literally was twice his size. You could tell that this guy had no balls in the marriage. She ran everything. She probably literally pile drove him at night, picked him up and threw him on the bed and beat him up. And the lawyer said he was toxic. And I thought to myself, just because he had a penis, he was toxic. This guy was a Fruit Loop, skinny. He was a nice guy, but he was so fruity. I mean, the way he talked, he just extremely feminine. The wife was masculine, and he was toxic. He was a toxic masculine man. Again, that's what the courts labeled him as. And his attorney's like, no, this guy is a gay guy. He wants, and I told him, go fight for your kids, regardless of whatever your orientation is. I don't get that, but you're the dad of your kids. You need to figure out what you do and explain that to them, but I don't think you should give your kids away. But he was labeled as a toxic man. And he was not toxic at all. Let's just say that. Putting her on the pedestal when you propose. Why do you think there's no expiration date for marriages? And everything else in life, there are expiration dates. There is, the marriage license never expires. You don't have to renew it, but you have to renew a fishing license, a driver's license, a passport, insurance license, nursing licenses. Why do you think that is? Did you have to live in your car no, I went straight to a great apartment. I was fortunate, but there's guys that do. Lisa, with, what the heck, don't any repercussions come back to these lying hags? You hardly ever hear, no. It's funny, even when, if anyone's gone through divorce, women won't even follow the decree of divorce. They think they're over the law. I remember I went to pick my kids up, and she wouldn't let them up. So she's like, I'm calling the cops. Great. Cop came up. I showed him my paperwork. I was there at 5:52. He showed up at 6 o'clock. I was supposed to pick my kids up at 6 o'clock. I showed him the paperwork. He went and knocked on the door. She's like, I'm not sending them home. They're scared of him. Made something up. What's the attorney going to do? Nothing. I mean, it was Friday. Okay, it's closed. And I said, cop, this is the judge that has signed the decree. The same judge, the same paycheck you receive, he receives the same paycheck from the same county. He goes, I understand you have visitation, but we cannot take the kids and give them to you. I mean, they don't even follow the decree. It's not even considered bad. Now, if she did that multiple times, I could take her to court. Well, it doesn't happen. And this was 6 years ago. It doesn't happen anymore, but the reality is they don't even follow the own decree. And so anyone that's divorced, you better make sure and note down every time that she violates the decree. And that's the reason, Lisa. Safe haven. I dated a girl briefly who demanded to be exclusive while still separated from her husband. I told her she has to fix that situation. She got mad and refused to talk to me. Good for you. That's also a red flag. It means, she's a quitter. I was arrested twice under the same circumstances. Good to see you, Father Saunders. I never let it happen again or ever will. Should have left after the first. Hindsight, never again. Never cohabitate. Never cohabitate. It's too risky. Too risky. It's too risky on the emotional and mental state of the relationship and the physical potential allegations. It's just not worth it. Yeah. You know what it's like. And you're a decorated war hero, going and helping us out. And I hope that took into consideration. But no, we're all toxic, right? False allegations are part of the Cash for Kids program attorneys tell women about. Damn right it is. Getting on your knees, you're pretty much telling a woman you give up and will find no one better. That's how her Q told to start breaking you down, because she showed her you're of lower value. Think about that. You're lower than her. Physically lower. Well said, Call Me Tune. If you go on vacation with your sons, where would you take them? Well, I take them. I like to do hikes and stuff, like down in southern Utah. They're fun. We're going to go to Vegas and go kind of like exploring these mysteries and out in the desert. So stuff like that. Mexico. I want to take them to Mexico. We'll see what happens. My son lives out of the house now, so he works a lot. We'll have to figure out a schedule. Why was your ex a part-time nurse? Because she took care of the kids. And she was a good mom. She's a good mom until the kids got older. Lisa Smith, there's no expiration date on my oath of enlistment. I've been out for a while. But there is no expiration date. Your marriage license never expires. Go figure. Carl is in the house. Even when a woman is found guilty of violating an order, the punishment is nothing, typically not even worth filing. No, she gets the pass. Absolutely, Carl. I had a buddy who his ex-wife was alienating him, so he noted it down. He went back to court. You know what the judge did? Put them both in jail. Even though the attorney's fighting for the guy, saying, look, he went every time he could to get his kids. And she had to go to jail for a weekend, so did he. And it's like, he didn't do anything wrong. He was trying to pick his kids up, and she wouldn't let him see them. Ridiculous. You're right. The P pass is real. Humans are not monogamous species. None of the great apes are. Love lasts 7 years because when the child is big enough to help with the tribe, they can find new partners. Well said, Peter Parker. Well said. I would agree with that. I don't know why separated women think they are in the game for LTRs. And they are still technically married. Right. Monkey Branson, jumping in the next canoe. Charles, DC, Rad, I cohabitated and she left out of the blue. I'm the toxic one. Cohabitation is just a way for her to monkey branch more comfortably. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Father Saunders, no, they use my service to this country against me and tried to twist a mental stability. Oh, shit. I have a friend that's going through the same thing. He was in Afghanistan, and they're using it as his PTSD freak, out of control guy. It's just ridiculous what the courts do to solid, strong men, especially military guys that put their fucking life on the line. And then in the court, they're the enemy, they're the Al-Qaeda in the courtroom, in the relationships, in the divorce proceedings. They're the evil person. That is why I say no cohab, no marriage, guys. You want to really, literally fuck your life up? Go get married. And then 5 to 10 years ago, you're going to be like, Rad was right. Rad was right. Now, that's 98% of all marriages. 2% make it. Great. Happy for them. But your odds jumping out of an airplane with a 98% failure rate, would you do it? Oh, I'm sure there's guys that would do it. My shoot's not like that. Well said, Father Saunders. Most of us humans, says David, are going to be living in the metaverse. Let's be real. Men are wising up. Channels like this and others are now our media. So gone are days of getting played by dishonest prostitutes. Well said, David. Would agree with that. Separated women who want to date are exposing the degree of delusion they have. There is a sense of delusion. Guys, there is a mental illness that social media has literally infected society with. And social media has caused anxiety, delusion. One believes that they're better than they actually are. And that, in other words, the 49er mentality, the Princess Destiny syndrome. It's a mental illness. So again, people say to me, Rad, you like to mountain bike by yourself. You like to travel by yourself. Hell yes, I do. Why wouldn't I? Knowing that a relationship, I have Guys, I have a lot of girls that I can go and get with. I've dated in the last 5 years, good-looking gals, but there's been none of them I would tie my wagon to. It's just I can't. They're nice, but if I was a simp, I could go get married and I would go through the same shit. In fact, it would be worse because now there's kids involved, exes, resources are more thirsty. More money is needed to me. No, it's not worth it. The mental illness and delusion of the modern day female, the majority, is not worth going after. I'm sorry. It's just not. That's the cold hard truth. I wish it was different. I wish men and women could have wonderful, amazing relationships where each of you had each other's back. There was no monkey branching. There's no cheating. Each of you showed, a level of respect and love that was honorable. I can't see it. Chris from Mexico, my husband passed away 5 years ago. My condolences. My 2 boys are 8 and 9 now. And they were young, so they don't know dad as well. Haven't dated anyone since then, but I wonder myself if not having a man's figure at home would affect my kids. Any opinion? Well, you're in a hard situation. You probably loved your husband. He passed away. I would say that I hope you have good brothers. If you don't have a relationship with a man, I'm sure a man could, in your neck of the woods, be a good father figure. There have been good stepfathers out there. I do know a couple that really took on a family of a widow or something and have been very good for those. But if you have a strong fatherly influence that may be a brother or an uncle or somebody that can provide, maybe your ex or your husband that passed away has a brother that you could get some sort of masculinity. They're going to be to the point here in the next couple of years where we're going to need the direction of strong men. But if you can find a guy that's great and you love him forever, go for it. What's the big difference between being cohab versus married if things go south? No difference. I got a buddy that had his girlfriend moved in. The judge kicked him out of the house. Go figure. And he owned the house. And then when he sold it, he had to give her the majority of the appreciation. I'm like, and they weren't even married. They've been together 1.5 years. Go figure. I guess there's no difference, Mr. O. It's been 1 year since she monkey branched, 7 years, and a son together. I've accepted that it's over. Why am I still angry inside? Because you invested in something and your investment failed. Not on your end, but on her end. You're angry because of that. At least you accepted it. Now you write your list down, pros and cons. You accept reality versus fantasy, which it looks like you have. But you allow that anger. It's okay. It's okay to be angry. Accept your anger. Accept that it's over and accept your anger. And then move that energy. Best thing you can do is work on yourself, improve yourself, and be the best damn father for that 7-year-old. I guarantee you didn't leave. She left. She monkey branched. And the same thing that she did to you, she'll do to the next guy. If Charles is still listening, that's what's going to happen. That is a horrible track record of success. Horrible. Stand tall, sir. I salute you. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Most laws are not scientifically analyzed. The law are defined to benefit certain group of people. I would agree. I think they plan the false allegation card because betas are programmed to hold on until the very end, and they are hardwired to be killed to provide for a female. They don't leave easily. Yes. Yes. I would agree, Elio. We tend to think that when a woman says no or yes, it really means maybe. But when it comes to divorce, no means no. Electrical, laying it down. She really spits in your face, the same face she used to kiss. That's a very interesting image I have of that. She did spit in my face, but boy, was it great when I first met her. I had a great time being with my ex-wife in the beginning. We had some good times. But in the end, she spit in my face. Actually, in the end, I wasn't looking. She kicked me straight in the nards and bloodied me up. So I had to find my attorney. And I had to do the same thing to her in a courtroom. And it sucks. But you're right. No means no in the end. Well said. Virtual reality and haptic technology and porn is the future. Girls and men are going to be living single instead of logging into social media. We're going to be living in a ready. You might be right. You might be right. And that's the end of society. That is the end. We might be in the last 2 generations of humanity. or however humanity is. I mean, it could be, it's going to be so weird with these robots running around. Why do military men get married? You know what? That's what's coming is inevitable. Gee, some guys are freaking more. They just, if they're overseas, they want someone to think about and hopefully have their back. But we know what happens. Military wives are some of the most. It's the highest percentage of relationships that cheat. Why don't most of them allow the father to see the children? Because it's a way that they can game the father. They use the kids as pawns. Remember, a woman's kids are not yours. They're hers. Those are her prizes. She earned them. That's what my attorney said. Appreciate Lisa here. Yes, it absolutely will. Read Dr. Warren Farrell's The War on Voice. Great book, by the way. I read it. Lots of good studies and the impact of a fatherless home on a man's life. So, Chris, just find really solid father figures. And if a relationship panders in Mexico for you and you would love that guy forever and stick by his side, go for it. You don't have to get married. So what do you think is the real divorce rate? I think it's higher than 70%. Yes, I do. Absolutely. And and that's just a physical divorce. Look at the mental, emotional. Guys, someone was telling me, oh my gosh, you're so lonely without a woman. You know how lonely I was in a marriage and she slept next to me 2 inches for 20 years. Go figure. That is why they call the baby mama terrorists. Yes. Yes, said John Boston. They use my VA monthly compensation as additional income to shit. Yeah, this is the bullshit. Now, do you think Father Saunders would ever enter into an agreement with the state again? Look what they did. A guy works his ass off, puts his life on the line, comes home, he's now Al-Qaeda in the goddamn courtroom, and then they siphon everything off. Money I get for injuries sustained in a war and the percentage goes to my ex. Oh, jeez. Oh, brother, I got your back, man. We got your back. You are not alone. You are not alone. This is the bullshit, guys. You just see what happens? Listen to Father Saunders' story. Gets divorced. They take his money, his injury money that he got for his injuries, and they give him to the wife. He laid his life on the line for all of us. And they take. Don't ever underestimate what a guy in a black robe will do to you. He could have been a Marine too. The Duluth model is real. The Duluth model is real. I swear I hate social media, especially Facebook and TikTok. That is promoting, absolutely. It's promoting promiscuity. It's promoting everything. It's stupidity. Some hairy Italian guys in the house. Good to have you, brother. Yep, men seem to just want someone they can come home to and ask how their day was and not cheat on them. Doesn't exist. I would agree. Social media didn't destroy us. We ruined it. People sit and watch other people's lifestyle and in turn make themselves miserable. I want that too. I remember our neighbors when I grew up in the late 70s. They went on vacation, they had pictures. God, we didn't want to see their fucking pictures. Like, that was miserable. Like, we could care less. Now everybody wants to see each other's. It's just, yeah, absolutely, Carl. Call me Coon. Absolutely. It's ruined us. Social media, dating apps, all that bullshit destroyed my relationship too. Raise your hand if it destroyed yours too. Right here, brother. Now I'm confronted with loneliness while my ex is dating lots of guys. You're not lonely. You're giving your power to her. You've got to take your power back, Charles. That's the only way you're going to move forward. This chick still owns you. Think about that. She monkey branch and she still owns you because you're lonely. You're thinking, oh, my validation is only good if she is texting or calling or being with me. Bullshit. She will cheat on if she calls you today and wants to get back together with you, she'll cheat on you again. I will bet everything I have on that. And so to be lonely is a skill you have to overcome. Or to be unlonely. That means you have to get out, you have to move your energy, you got to quit thinking. Your brain, your thoughts are literally killing you. Every time you're thinking about her dating lots of guys, it's killing you. Because it did the same thing to me. I had a woman with no job ask me if I thought I was better than her. I said, yes, of course I am. She calls me. I said that the other night. I told this gal, I was talking to her. She goes, I said, I'm never right, or I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong. She's still talking to me. What an asshole thing to say. I go, that's not an asshole thing. That's the truth. I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong. Use it. She's with another, Charles. It's as simple as that. That's because in California they have civil marriages, so after 7 years and it's same legally where they can get stuff. Yes, common law. My state does not have this. You're in a good state then. So friendship ROA is better than romantic. Sure. There's no such thing in your heart. And once you put your heart into it, Mysterio, that's when it's on the downfall. One crucial lesson I had to learn is that human beings are animals. It's a fact that get hit. Yes, we are. We are animals. Truth is, we're just animals with a brain. That's why alpha and beta is the thing. I would agree. Well said, David. We are animals with emotions. Who has more leverage when it comes to divorce? Women. Regardless if you file first. That's a myth. Filing first or not filing first is a complete myth. Women hold all of the power. That's why you need a very, 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 very expensive, good bulldog attorney. I also said to her that there's no woman in this world that can make me happy. She couldn't believe because she knew I was not thirsty for her and she looked good, but I didn't give a fuck. There you go. Give 0 Fs. A good lawyer, you can get what you want. My uncle destroyed his. You need a fair. My grandfather told me, if you're ever in legal issues, you find the biggest, baddest, most expensive bulldog attorney you can. How do you think OJ got off? Lisa Smith, lonely versus alone is a big difference. Yes, and I've talked about that multiple times. Being alone, we're all alone. We're alone at night. We're alone in the toilet. We're alone in the shower. Lonely is something when you give external validation to somebody else. In other words, you have to be around people to be happy. That's ridiculous. Really? When was the last time you were around somebody and you were frustrated and miserable? It's when we give our power to someone and say, you know what, I got to be around someone. They make me feel better about myself. If I'm with other people, then I feel like validated, recognized. I'm cognizant. No. You die alone and you're born alone. This whole deal about you're going to be old and alone and nobody's going to take care of it, that's bullshit. You know how many marriages are alone? People in marriages? So loneliness is really getting out and really trying to find out and falling in love with yourself again, and who you are and what you like and what's important to you. It's taking the power back that you externally gave to somebody else, and now it's back to you. It's the internal. That's how you get over it. And I tell guys and gals, Lisa, go out and watch a sporting event at a bar. You don't have to drink. Have a burger. Have a soda pop and watch a game and talk to the bartenders. That's how you do it, little by little. Go on hikes by yourself. You'll meet other hikers. How are you doing? Walk around the neighborhood. Go to the gym by yourself. Loneliness is giving somebody the power of someone else the power to control you. That's all it is. Getting a vasectomy soon. That's probably very good, especially in today's modern day. With military marriages, I think a lot of these women want a green card. Yes, I would agree. Always give them good advice to everybody in this forum. Chris, Carl gave great advice. Legal marriage is now a wealth transfer system. It's sad. It's a retirement plan if you think about it. Well said, Cyberzoni. For you guys who think marriage is a good idea, go see Mr. Palmer's channel. Go sit. If you're thinking about getting married, go to a temporary orders hearing at your local courthouse. That is when they begin the division of kids, assets, and everything. And you will watch some of the worst mudslinging possible. That'll scare you to high heaven. If I have to be with a woman, I'd rather be with a foreign. When I visited Vietnam, I met lots of friendly and kind women there. Just don't bring them back to the U.S. But also know they're female and they have an emotional brain. Married neighbors says his wife won't show him her phone. Big red flag, Jawara. How many friends and family were getting married when you got married in the 90s? No, a lot of us. A lot of friends, yeah. It was very, very part of the landscape. I went to lots of friends' weddings around the same time. All of them are divorced now. More red flags on the Saigon on April 30th, 75. There you go. I was talking, Khan's in the house, Khan. I was talking to a 45-year-old woman. She said dating apps are full of damaged and recycled goods. She thinks it's hard to find normal guys. 10 minutes into the convo, she said she was an alcoholic recovering. At least she was honest. Kudos for that. Social media destroyed my marriage too, and mine, and them, and yours, and everyone else's, and most relationships. I wish they could just shut off and outlaw social media. There is one good thing about social media. It has allowed us to see female nature upfront and personal. Social media changed the dating, marriage, and family dynamic that no man can keep a woman happy and content anymore. Everyone else in her eyes is living a better life than she was dealt. Exactly. That is the ultimate form of virtual hypergamy. Had a 2-hour and 15-minute walk through the countryside yesterday on my own. Loved it. There you go, red pill medicine. That is what we're talking about. Putting yourself first. Great, great comment. Good for you. I'm sure it's just, you're in a zone, man. When I'm riding my bike in Park City, I'm doing a 25 miler. I'm in the trees. There's no cell phone reception. I'm blaring LA Guns in my ears or Godsmack or Suicidal Tendencies or something. And I'm just feeling at home. Nature is hitting me at all levels. My spirit, my vibes are just, talk about charging my batteries. Guys, I implore you to get out in nature. Suzanne, when I was 17, I trapped muskrats on the Mississippi River with my dad. Earned $500 in 2 weeks. Not bad. Jeez, 77. That's like $5,000 today. I have never fit in with other women. Don't care. Sounds like you had a great dad. I got myself a 5.5-month-old lab. Far better investment in time and money training her than to train a wife how to be a wife. You'll just be called controlling. And that lab is 100% committed and faithful and doesn't have social media. But absolutely, way to put your time into something that truly brings a return on investment. Radicalized online in the house. Just had a killer smoke session with a couple buddies. Had a friend over that got exposed for his blue-pilled ways. We didn't scold him, but we did break it down very matter-of-factly. Well, sometimes you have to do that with friends. Sometimes you got to lay it down to Chinatown. Con is right. Dating sites are trash cans. Yes, they are. Going to the grocery store. You have a good weekend too, brother. They're exploding biscuit cans whenever I go out with them, says Matt. Matt's in the house. Good to have you, brother. I would agree. Very pretty Puerto Rican girl calling me up, demanding him over for her to go to lunch. Just on the previous call, she told him she wasn't in the mood for company. The old chain and jerk. Yep. Happens all the time, guys. Do you think moving to Bogota, Colombia, or rural Russia a good idea to find a good person, build a family, and never come back? I would go to Colombia. That's where I would go, and don't bring them back. All of us eat lies when we're hungry, so the one and only way we need is to feed ourselves first. A strong self is the best defense against abuse, whether you call it marriage, cheating, and violence. Well said, Chris Escandal. Your best defense is a strong internal version of yourself. If you're strong internally, you can weather and beat what's on the external. If you're not strong internally, you're going to suffer the rest of your life. And that's how you do it. You got to get out. You got to be with yourself. You're the only person that has 100% has your back. Some men can't live without women, says EP 1929. Well said, brother. I would say the majority. 98% can. It's our programming. That right there is solid gold, says EP. Some men can't live without women. Can you? Can we? And that's the whole purpose of these channels. If you can't live without a woman, then you gave that woman your whole existence in the palm of her hand. Now she can manipulate. Have you ever seen a voodoo doll? That's what you are. She's poking pins in you. And yet most women won't jump out of her hand because now they think they've got one-itis, they're going to be alone, they're going to make all this shit in their head. When the best thing they can do is run the hell away. Social media has exposed women like nothing I have ever seen. Great point, John Boston. I would agree. It's horrible. It's actually allowed us. In fact, that's probably the only one benefit of it. It's allowed us, those that have an intelligence, to see the reality of what relationships and women are doing. And men. There's dipshit men that post. Not all men are nice, are great. Most, there are douchebags. And that's not who we associate with. So what is in her phone? If she shows you her phone, that's probably a very big green flag. Box of Chads and Tyrones is in her phone. If you can't be happy alone, you never will be, 100%, until they are red pill. If I can never let a woman cohabitate me, and she scares me. You don't want to cohabitate. It's too risky. Most women can't be as loyal as long as they have their smartphones in their hands. Instagram, Tinder, Snapchat. How can a man have power? There you go, brother. There you go. That's your own medicine right there. That is the truth. If your lady has social media in the palm of her hand, you can't ever. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. The reality is real. Voodoo dolls, some girls have them as kids. Yeah, remember you could actually, I remember that actually growing up. You could buy like a little voodoo doll and poke it. Social media also promoted the standard of height now. If any guy wants to date a girl, he would have to be 6 foot. If he's short, he's not getting nothing. The majority, yes, they want height, 6'2" and above. Even though do you understand that only like 14% of all men worldwide are over 6 foot tall? 86% aren't. Out of the 14%, how many of those guys are cool, high quality, high value? I mean, they're just basically selecting themselves out of the market, and that's why they're so bitter. David, I'm 6 foot, muscular, my ex monkey brand, so they always believe the grass is greener. Yes, that's 100%. She didn't monkey brands because you didn't have the height. She just got bored. You either became too nice or she just got bored and she followed. She's not yours. It's just your turn mentality. You guys have to remember that. She is not yours. She is just your turn. Think about that. A woman reserves the right to change her mind at any time. Yesterday she loved you. Today she doesn't. She changed her mind. Think really hard. The next time you're desiring a woman because you're lonely, think. A woman's phone is filled with plan Bs and beyond. I like that. That would be a cool bumper sticker. A woman's phone is filled with plan Bs and beyond. I'm no plan B. In fact, I would never, ever be plan A. I'm in for one thing. That's it. Manish says money more than height. I think that's well said. I think ignoring a woman according to PUA doesn't work. Even the ugliest, fattest women have hundreds of men praising them at any point. Woman couldn't care less being ignored with options they have. That might be said. I think it depends on where you're at. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if you get ignored, if she likes you and you ignore her, that's a different story. But if you're ignoring her just because you can, who knows? But yeah, I mean, they have hundreds and hundreds of options. And yeah, easy. They can go out and get anyone they want. And that's the reality. Even the fuglies, as Tom Likas calls them. Maintain frames in the house. Are there any regional pockets of the U.S. where the dating market is more favorable for men? Small towns, but they also still have maintained frame, female brain. And they still live in the United States. I wish I listened to Likas back in 2000. I would have been a millionaire now. I think a lot of us would have been. Does monkey branching have an age range? What woman close to 60 is? Oh, I'm sure they do too. I don't think there is an age frame. I really don't. We're laying it down to Chinatown. I said that early in the podcast. You have to listen to it. Good to have you, brother. Man and money are the best combination for saving and investing. And women, that's an entirely different story. It's retail therapy for women. And Greg Adams coined that. I kind of like that term. Retail therapy is why women spend. They love it. They have insatiable demands of constantly acquiring more and more and more and more and more. Nothing is sufficient enough. Brad, can you blow me up on bong hit style? I should get a soundboard. Blow me up, African travel style. Blow me up, Tom. I said on one of your earlier live streams that delusional women hate me. I have a funny story for you. Tell it. I want to hear it. I like everyone else thought I found a unicorn. We all thought we found unicorns. Right? EP 1929, saying yes to something. I can't remember. Fupa pandemic. Fat upper peace sleeve area. The fupa. Juara, how's the hair going? I'm traveling in a different city this weekend, and women here are friendlier and more open than my home city. Well, maintain frame. There's nothing wrong with having a little horizontal time. Just be careful. I wish I would have all the things about Red Pill before my breakup. Would have changed a lot of things. Well, now you got them. You know what? I didn't have the tools. John Boston didn't. John Boston was blindsided. So was I. Cara was blindsided. Now we have the tools. Now we understand that if you give your woman everything, your heart, she has the potential to destroy it. Don't do it. And if you have done it, realize it. Understand the fantasy versus reality. She's still on a pedestal with you. You got to take her off the pedestal, and you put yourself on the pedestal. It's hard to accept. I know it. I've been there. But that's the cold hard truth. That's why we're here. That's why you're here. Khan, what is the best way to plan a permanent move to Colombia? What kind of work can foreigners do there besides teaching English? Well, I would say this. Go visit. Check out Medellin, Cali. Right now there's some issues with the unrest in the country. But I would just go and then slowly start doing it. And save some money. I mean, you got 10, 15 grand, you can live down there. I would go to cities that, I mean, Medellin's cool, but there's a lot of gringos. There's more opportunity to teach English. You can make a lot of money teaching English. Like you can make $3,000 a month in Colombia. I mean, Medellin's more expensive, but you can live like a king on $3,000. I mean, you can live like a king on 1,000. You can rent an apartment about 5 miles outside of the city for literally $350 a month. Your food's going to run $100. If you do it by yourself. Your cell phone is $12 a month. Your internet's like $8 a month. You don't really need a car. Healthcare you can get on their plan, or you can have some international plan, maybe $100 a month, like short-term only or something. But I would try to get on the Columbia plan, or you don't even need it. Just go to the clinic. And then see what else. Travel, bus pass, subway pass, or whatever if they have that. $100 a month, or if not, 50. I mean, buses are cheap, so it's not hard to live. And if you're making $3,000 a month, you're living like a king. You might not be living in a high rise in Medellin because that's probably $1,500 a month, but it's all relative. Teaching English $3,000 to $5,000 a month, doing side hustles with executives for Colombia petroleum companies. I mean, you can make good money. You don't need a lot. So if you make $60,000 here, it costs you $58,000 to live. But if you make $60,000 there, it costs you $25,000 to live. Go figure. The old fupa. Massachusetts isn't bad for dating because the men here are soy boys and male feminists. The women are wicked feminists, though. Yeah, I'm liberal. I am a liberal. And if you voted for Trump, you swipe left. Why would a woman want a wimpy dude? And then they get with the wimpy dude, they don't want him. Do you understand the delusion just in that sense? Why would a liberal woman want a liberal soy boy? He probably can't even perform. He's probably too scared to even hug her. If there is all these colors for the pill, what is the free agent lifestyle that Coke agent? I don't know. I think Greg is more, he's kind of like me in the sense that he will lay with somebody, but he likes the community college gals. But he's not into cohab, he's not into LTRs, he's not into marriage. I don't think he's not monk. He's flown to Colombia, Mexico, wherever, Dominican Republic, and he's gotten with gals. He just doesn't allow a woman to occupy his heart or his brain. And he's short-term only. It's as simple as that. So you can navigate a life with women in it if you understand the game. I want to move to Vancouver and live in a van. Vancouver, Canada? Go up to Whistler. Love Whistler. I used to go there every summer for like 7 years with my kids. 6 foot tall, 6 figure, 6 inches, and 6 seconds away from monkey branching to another canoe. Cryptic is in the house. 666. There you go. Is now a good time to buy a Connor, or would I be buying at the top? You'd be buying at the top. It's out of control everywhere, even in Mexico. I was blue pilled, did everything. Now I even found out Will Smith also got cheated on by his wife. It's everywhere. It's just not you. It's every man. It's every woman being indoctrinated by social media and Oprah. You have no chance. It doesn't matter how much money, how tall, how great looking you are, how amazing you are. Throw that shit out the window. If you know that, you focus on yourself. This is why we do these channels. Men, focus on yourself. Put yourself priority and on the pedestal, and your life will be amazing. But how were we programmed? To put the woman first, to get married, to have kids. And how did that turn out? And guys don't even remember that, and they go on the second, third, and fourth marriage, only for to be divorced again. Now, no way any woman's ruling me. I got my own house, own car. Why would I need a woman moving in? I'd be losing control. EP 1929 says the truth. Well said. I have to pay a surgeon for forehead reduction surgery to push up hairline. Ugh, just shave your damn head. You'll look great. You're black too, because the black guys with shaved heads always look good. Rad retail therapy. I know a woman who shops and buys so many things that when she says she's returning everything, 2 weeks later she does the same thing. It's retail therapy. 100%. Must be fully vaccinated. Jeez Louise. I mean, what a red flag. That woman puts more faith into a non-proven vaccine that the government can't even run the post office. And the post office has been around for over 100 years. Used to be the post. They can't even run that. They can't even run Amtrak. They can't even run the trains. The train was the original transport. They can't even run that. How do they run a vaccination program? I don't know what's in that shit. They'll probably make you grow 3 arms or something. Nobody knows yet. They don't have a year of vaccinations yet. Going to go now, Rad. Good to see you. Going to relax and watch a film with a double whiskey rye. Good for you, brother. Glad you were here. Does your ex have access to your pension? Nope. We split everything down the middle. Women want men to mirror them, to compliment them, even when it's not warranted, and to support them. Then they get tired of beta and seek that bad boy alpha. They want Richie Cunningham, and then they want Fonzie. They want Fonzie, then they want Richie. If you give them 100%, they disrespect you. If you don't give them 100%, then you're controlling. You can't win, Carl. Have a relationship, but never move them in. The best relationship would be, you live in separate houses, you earn separate money, you get together to have sex and intimacy and just chill out and have fun. Now, what's going to happen? Most likely the woman's going to push more, which is typical. She's going to want to push more of an LTR, more of a committed relationship, and potentially want to put her, it's the old camel putting the head in the tent. Once the head's in the tent, then the body's in it, and you can't get her out. If you get a bus pass in Mexico, they give you a pack of Twizzlers for the 304. They give you a pack of Twizzlers, but the flavor is jalapeno. Phil Collins' wife ran off and stole the mansion, and she wasn't very attractive. If I remember, was she like Jamaican or something? She was not attractive. He could have got better. I said it's a man world to a female cashier. Her face went dark, claimed, "We are superior." When I laughed at her, she almost flipped out. I think I hurt her feelings. Why would, I'm glad you said that. Why is it wrong that it's a man's world? Why would a woman, it goes against all of societal programming. I mean, if you think about it, the history has shown that men have been the future, and that's how we maintained everything. Why would a woman just not be cool with that? It's almost as though the delusion and the thinking has completely twisted everybody, and the delusion is set in. But that's great. There you go, Lisa, laying it down in Chinatown. Stay away from Home Goods. I'm sticking to retail there. Dude, every time I go to Home Goods, I don't think I bought anything there. It's a shit show, man. Like, it's weird. All the shelves, there's no organization of the damn shelves. Women on Tinder are red flags. Tinder is a red flag, my brother. Is inflation or deflation coming? Good question. We're seeing inflation right now. We're going to see a big shit show come. That's what we're seeing, maintain frame. We're going to see the biggest shit show of all. So get out of debt. Have some different income resources. Have some different, ways to, if you got stock market, get some gold, silver, maybe get some crypto. Pay down debt and just stack money right now. Stack money. The best thing for men is to minimize the social media and learn money-making skills. Yes, HVAC, AC, the millionaires are the guys that are doing HVAC, electrician, plumbing. You got it. Well said, Call Me Coon. Have a good day, brother. Hey, Rad, how you doing? Yes, I care. Late for my learning class, but I'm here. Have a good Victor. I'm doing great. Glad to have you here, brother. Talking about the insatiable demands of women, the majority, 98%, and you just can't win. And if you think you can win, you're delusional as well. I would put you more delusional than a woman if you think you can win the women in the man and woman relationship. You're delusional. I have a woman, everything, and live to regret it. You gave a woman everything, right? Well, so did I. So did John. So did Carl. So did Father Saunders. So did Charles. What happened? Guys, what happened? We have a common theme. Remember in mathematics, what's the common denominator? X. We gave everything to a woman. We wanted to choose and put our love into a woman. Why? Female nature equals common denominator. Monkey branching. Hypergamy. She's not yours. It's just your turn. You have to get this through. We have to get this through our head. That is why it's so important to share our stories, to watch Red Pill channels, to understand this. Again, we don't hate women. We understand women, and that's okay. And you can entertain women the way you see it or not. I don't care. I just want to help guys. And if you go that route, and if you want a woman in your life, then understand the principles we're talking about. Learn to navigate life by putting you on the pedestal. But it's going to be risky. Simple as that. The government can't have an election without Democrats ballot stuffing. Yes. Everybody knows, John, who won. Legend Phil can get a 26-year-old hottie. Yes, he can. Phil Collins can. Of course he can. And he married that busted Pillsbury biscuit can. Manage Roy, I'm into consumer goods business. Very well. Hopefully you're selling to women. Do you sometimes jog with backpack strapped to your back? I don't jog, but I do ride my bike with my Camelback, and I usually have some jelly beans, the caffeinated jelly bellies. I have it watered, and I usually put like an applesauce. Applesauce is the best like energy if you're riding bikes or running or something. Applesauce. It's the best. That's what I found. It's the best pick-me-up if you need it. What if you do hate women, Kurt says? Well, I think hate in this sense, I mean, we've all been there. And I'm, when I first was going through it, I hated it. But I think hate still gives them power. If you really think about hate and love, it's the same energy, just on different frequencies. I think the best thing you can do is just hate female nature. Hate hypergamy, hate feminists, but use it to your advantage. Flip it around and say, you know what? I might hate it, but I understand it now. And that's even better than hating it, because now you understand it. Now you have a crystal clear vision of a scenario in your life that you can avoid now. Think about that. You can avoid what you went through by understanding it, not by hating it. Hating it just still gives power, because I've been there. I know what it's like. You see the real female nature in its true form over at Lizard Hunter. I'll check that out. Bird cages at Home Goods that don't have birds in them. Or a vase that gets bigger than your sofa for fake flower. It's ridiculous. It's just, again, it's another piece of therapy. It's dumb. And that usually ends up in Goodwill in 6 months. And, with it's probably $48.99. Just a waste of money. Stupidity. Good day, Rads, the Shepherd of Fire. Good to you. Hope all of you are on your path into a better future. Bless you all and your betters. That's a wonderful statement. We are definitely moving forward, and as you as well, navigating life by understanding female nature and red pill awareness is a very, very amazing superpower. Think about what we know now. Think about why we're on this channel, learning from one another, hearing ways to improve our lives by understanding the reality of male and female relationships. And if people are still believing in the Disney story after watching these channels for months, if not years, then something's not right. Why go through it again? People ask me all the time, oh, you were just hurt and broken from your ex. You should try marriage again. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't even try it again if it was 1997 without social media. The reality of hypergamy and monkey branching is a reality that exists, guys. I have a mate who sold his fully owned flat to move in with a woman with her own house. She and he blew the proceeds of his flat 8 years later. She black bagged him. Now he's renting. Guys, it happens. It happens, EP 1929. How damn does it happen? Men, never stop being yourself. That's the ultimate thing to never forget. Never kill your inner child. Ever. You lose that inner boy, you lost yourself as a man. The two require each for completion. Well said. And your inner child loves to ride bikes. Your inner child loves to explore nature. Your inner child loves to create. Once you have killed your inner child, well said, brother, you lose. Well said. I have no interest in women at all after learning about them. Well, there's a lot of guys that go that route. There's nothing wrong with that. Put that interest on yourself. In yourself. I hate hypergamy. A woman forcing for a ring is a red flag. Yes, it is. It's because of red pill, you know where to invest now. Would you consider good investment as hate? No, hate's not good. Hate's just an energy that's tough, but we have to go through it. We have to go through it. Learn to channel that hate into something more effective, which is indifference, and just work on yourself. Thank God I came out of it very short, just about 10 grand to end it, cohabitating for 10 years, but the heartbreak, it's immeasurable. Never again, electrical says. Well said, brother. Once you have sent money to end it, your eyes are open very, very quickly. Lord Spawn is in the house. Good to see you. The local mall here is 95 geared toward the creature. 90% of the department store is full of products and solutions for women. What does that tell you? It says 10% of the other products are for men, which means men are minimalists. We don't need a lot. We don't spend a lot. Let's see, hold on. It's not just hypergamy, it's them getting bored. Yes, I would agree, Kurt. What the heck do you mean forcing for a ring? The biatch better be worthy to receive your ring. Well said, Lisa. I won't put enough effort to entertain women. I don't care anymore. Well, there you put it in yourself. You're safe to say those things here. You're not wanting to entertain women and be with a woman, so put it in yourself. Great. The return on investment is very slim to none. Good for you, Kurt. I afforded a flat with my ex 3 years ago, believing in big love. Now she's trying to get the most money out of it, even forcing to sell everything and destroying my life. There's 3 rings. There's the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffering. Don't forget. There's no such thing as Disney love. We all wanted to believe it, and a lot of us still want to believe it. But the reality is not the fantasy. I need to watch your content as a reminder when I get told I need to find a woman again. Well, that's a shaming issue with a lot of people. But, if a woman doesn't bring you happiness and peace, then don't, for Pete's sake, don't go after him, right? No offense to women, I'm just not into it anymore. There's a lot of guys that said, you know what, I gave my heart, I went through the divorce court, I went through being divorce raped and or losing everything in the LTR or cohabitating, having allegations, and guess what? They don't want to do it again. I don't want to do it again. I'm only into one thing. The physical, that's it. I don't have a problem with it. It's difficult. Could it be? I just navigate life by knowing that I'm not giving anything. To me, I don't mind going out, meeting a gal. I like to listen to them and hear. And literally, everything that I talk about is reinforced every time I go out. It's kind of like my own, lab, experimental lab. And then, this is how it works. The suffering. There's a picture of the suffering right there, guys. Good for you, Joar. The shaming is the biggest issue I face. Yeah, don't worry about it. They shame you because they're just weak. Those people are weak, and they're unreasonable. She was asking every week when I buy a ring because she craved it. Result, she broke up. Did you ever buy the ring? I bet she would have stayed with you if you never bought the ring. Remember, when you give them the carrot, they seek elsewhere. When you start chasing them, they don't chase. It's done. It happens all the time. Cheyenne Raj, good to see you as well. What is the role of a woman in a society according to you? I believe that, well, if it's a traditional society, they should be the caretaker and the homemaker of the house and the man, help with the children, and be your co-pilot, and stand and support and respect you as you would respect her. Right? Men will respect and give everything to a woman when she gives respect and appreciation to him. It is not a difficult recipe. Love, honor, respect. Give it up once or twice a week. Tell him how much you appreciate him. He'll give you the world. It's not hard. But they fight even doing that. Think about it. You have enough money to roll the dice again. I feel like since my exposure to the red pill, that has made me hollow and unable to enjoy the things I once loved and the ability to enjoy new things. Even I've been in that situation, and that's when you have to really build yourself back up. And now you're viewing life through a lens. It's different. You know, we used to view it through a fantastical vision, a fantasy of love, and everything would work out, and we'd be taken care of, and the government's great, and the education system's great. And then, the best thing that I can do when I felt like that was to be by myself in the mountains and just enjoy life. Just listen to the birds, ride my bike, lift weights, enjoy a ham sandwich with a beer. That's how you do it, one step at a time. But yeah, I know the feeling. You dodged a bullet, do your own thing for a while. Well said. Rad, no, never. I told she would get it in time. I felt pressure. Oh, so you never got the ring. Good for you. Everyone is going through the same shaming tactics, even me. I am shamed by my parents for not getting married. And Minaj is in Mumbai, India, guys, where marriage is typically a lot of arranged marriages, right? I feel bad for people whose woman is an alcoholic. There is a lot of alcoholics and that have really bad health problems because of it. Again, it's believing, see you later, Matt. It's believing that, they ran the feminist version, and they couldn't find love in their life. They couldn't find a relationship because they were told that they were the pedestal. So they turned to alcohol and cats. Being with a constant drunk must be horrible. Doesn't do well for a relationship. It's very simple. If you can't be traditional, then don't expect it. That's a problem most women have today. That's probably the best advice right there. If that woman is not traditional, run. But even if she is traditional, she's susceptible to modern day programming. So it might work in the short term, but maybe in the long term, that's going to be an ultra shit show. I'm not willing to roll the dice, says Jawara. Well said. Call me Coon. Have a good one, boys. Got to run. See you on the next. All right, guys. We are done today. Remember, there are insatiable demands that you can never compete with. So why don't you take that energy and place it on yourself? So rebel against defeat. Chase excellence, masculinity, men first.